Welcome back, NEC Hoops fans, for another edition of NEC on the Run. I'm Ron Ratner, and I am joined by Pioneer Pride himself, Ryan Peters. Ryan, a lot to get through, a lot we have to parse from this past weekend. Only 3 weeks left to play. Where do we stand right now in your eyes?
I mean, Wagner and Bryant are undisputably the top two teams in the league right now. Wagner, another 2-win week. It was a tale of two games for them. They kind of had to grind out a tough win against a really game Blue Devils opponent. They were up by 23 in that game, but then Blue Devils got it down to one possession late. Morales with a great defensive play at the end. We'll talk about that later. And then, in that game against LIU on Saturday, they just did a great job of winning the transition game, winning the game on the glass, and they were able to upend the Sharks. So just a great week overall. Once again for Wagner, now at 12-0.
As Wagner keeps winning streak now at 13 games. They're still only one game ahead in the standings because we have a red-hot Bryant team right on their heels.
Red hot indeed. The very difficult Loretto-Emmitsburg road trip, they end up going 2-0, minus two starters because Charles Pride just went off 76 points, 22 rebounds, shot 26 of 43 from inside the arc. And, they've had a short rotation these last few games, but Jared Grasso's really leaned on his starting five. Led by the aforementioned Pride, but, Alita, Hurtado, Calix, Erickson, they've all played really well, and they've scored 95% of Bryant's points in these last two games, grabbed 93% of their rebounds. So they really that front five, they played a lot of minutes. They're all tired on the bus ride back to Smithfield, I'm sure, but well deserved. They're now at 11-1 and only one game back of Wagner, still in the hunt for that one seed.
That was a really, really great game. The Bryant Mount game the other day, great crowd at Mount St. Mary's and a tough place to play. And the performance by Charles Pride is, you're not going to see better. I've been around the block a few times here, and for a guy to do something that he's never usually asked to do, which was score points in droves, he was incredible. And to go and grab those two wins on on that Western swing, it's not easy, and they keep the pressure on Wagner at this point, right? And that's what they need to do.
100%. We have the Thursday matchup coming up, Mount at Wagner for a TV game. So Wagner's going to have their hands full. So, always putting the pressure on the team ahead of you. That's what Bryant's done.
We'll get to the Mount Wagner game later. It's a really good one. But let's talk about this past Saturday. What a day. 3 overtime games. 3. And then we had the Bryant Mount game, which was a 1-point game. Incredible. Let's go through some of these OT games.
Yeah, Central Connecticut, they had a really good, I guess I could say a good loss against Wagner on Thursday. The fact that they almost beat the, defending regular season champions, they lost by 2. But then Saturday, they outlast Fairleigh Dickinson. Andre Snoddy, now a 5-time rookie of the week, had the tip in to send it into regulation. And then Nigel Scantlebury and, Ian Krishnan just took over in that overtime frame, and they get the big win. Pat Sellers gets revenge on his good buddy, Greg Herenda. And then Sacred Heart, it looked like they were dead in the water in Brooklyn, but they went on a timely 13-0 run to send that game into overtime before sealing it. They had 18 offensive rebounds and 21 second chance points, a much needed victory for Anthony Latina's group. And then finally Merrimack, they get back into the win column with a couple of clutch plays late. First, Mikey Watkins hits a long 3 in regulation against St. Francis, PA to tie it. And then the go-ahead drive and contested finish by Malik Edmead in overtime secures the win for the Warriors and gets them back in the hunt in the middle of the pack of the league.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game also. I love that SFU Merrimack game. Another really good atmosphere, and that could have gone either way, as all these games could. What goes on, by the way, at Central Connecticut at halftime of these games? What are we feeding the kids? What is Pat Sellers doing adjustment-wise at halftime? Because the first half and the second half are completely they don't look like each other.
Yeah, I'm sure Pat Sellers is fine with the adjustments and what they're doing, but I'm sure he's trying to figure out why they get off to such slow starts too.
It's been the Central team is a fun team to watch. They're going to be good for, in the coming years. Great Saturday of hoops. We have 3 weeks to go, 12 in, 6 remaining, 7 for a couple of teams. And can't wait to see how it all shakes out next week. And those are our weekend takeaways. After his monumental week, we are bringing Charles Pride in for our Twitter timeout. We are now joined by Charles Pride, Bryant, junior guard, coming off one of the great weeks in NEC Hoops history, 38 points a game, 11 rebounds, named the NEC Player of the Week and the Lou Henson National Mid-Major Player of the Week as well. Charles, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's get started about your 2-0 week on the road. You play these two games, you put up these incredible numbers. You take 56 shots in the two games, back-to-back double-doubles. You play all but 2 minutes. How tired were you at the end of these two games? And was this the most, going back to your high school and, travel ball days, that you've ever shot the ball?
Yes, for sure. And I was really tired. But we have a good training staff over here, so I got with them in between the games and stuff, got some pool workouts in, and they did a good job of having me ready for that Mount game.
That's great. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan in a second. I saw you two had a playful exchange on Twitter the other day, which was great. Ryan, I'm just going to step out of the way and hand the reins to you now.
Listen, it's all in good fun, Charles. I've always admired your kind of do-it-all selflessness approach on the court, and in the recent days, I think you've shown great humility in the post-game interviews that you had after Mount St. Mary's. But obviously, to be a star in this league, and you in your tweet, alluded to the fact that you're a top 5 NEC player, you have to have that inner confidence, right? That confidence to succeed. So push aside the humility for a second and give me a glimpse of the inner confidence that you possess, and tell us why you're a top 5 player in the Northeast Conference.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I just help my team to win games, meaning anything. Like, I'll do anything it takes to win. I don't really know. I just know that I put a lot of work in. I'm not sure a lot of people put in as much work as I put in, but I don't know. Just, I've played against everyone in the league a bunch of times, and I feel like I bring a lot to the table for my team and help my team win games.
Yeah, I feel like your versatility, Charles, is your biggest strength, right? Because you could do a number of things really well. Analytically looking at your numbers, just 12% of your shots are considered kind of mid-range 2. So you're obviously more of a 3 and a near the rim type of guy. I know Coach Grosso is heavy on analytics, and your shot selection, quite frankly, is kind of an analytics dream. Have you always been like that in your offensive approach, even going back to high school, or is this something that Coach Grosso and his staff have kind of taught you along the way at Bryant?
Well, I've been like that pretty much my whole entire life, but being with the staff up here, it's definitely helped me a lot. Like, I've improved my game in as far as the numbers, as far as making more shots and getting better, and the technique as far as things. In this past summer, I was working on a lot of like the mid-range, like the floaters, and using the backboard, like a little bit off the block and stuff like that.
Charles, what do you like the most about this Bryant team at this point in the season?
I like the way we are as a team, as a unit. I feel like we have a group that never gives up. Like against Mount, we were down 2 starters. No one got down on each other. Everyone fought. We all had each other's back. There was no point in the game that we thought we were going to lose. We have a whole bunch of fighters on the team and a whole bunch of people that work hard. And I love going to war with them.
All right, Charles, thanks so much for joining us on NEC on the Run. We were all in awe of what you accomplished last week. We know there's more to come, and we look forward to watching Bryant the rest of the season. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now it's our Under the Radar segment. And for Bryant, Hall Elijah's out. No problem, right?
Greg Clix has been fantastic over these last 3 games for Jared Grosso. I mean, he's been their main 5-man. He's averaging 9 points, 8 rebounds, and he's made 11 of 19 shots. His offensive rating is at a career high, so Bryant is really using him in an efficient way. About 92% of his shots are near the rim, so he's, and that's a reason why he's shooting such a high 2-point field goal percentage this season. And also, too, defensively, he brings a lot of value as well. He's rejected more than 7% of the opponent's shot attempts when he's on the floor. So Greg Clix, in the absence of starters, providing great minutes on both ends of the floor for Bryant.
It's Star Watch time. We're going back to Brooklyn Heights. A couple of weeks ago, we had Patrick Emilian. Now it's Michael Cubbage.
Yeah, he's turning into an all-conference player right in front of our eyes, Ron. Over the past 2 weeks, the do-everything guard is averaging 19 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting 54% from the field. And, he had a big bucket in that Sacred Heart game. I know they lost it, but a sweet fadeaway at the foul line in the final seconds of regulation to extend that game into overtime. And, Cubbage is unafraid of the big moment. I think that's obvious. And his play of late is a big reason why I'm still bullish on the Terriers. I know they're 4-8, but I really like them. The Emilian Cubbage duo with Higgins has been there before, and Wilcox can make threes, and Hemphill can stretch the defense out a little bit. They're going to be a dangerous opponent, I think, in the NEC tournament quarterfinals. I don't think anyone wants to host them come March.
100% agree with that. Cubbage he's a really good player, both ends of the court too, and that shot he hit to send it to overtime, that's a professional shot right there. That is an NBA shot. So good for him. Michael Cubbage, he's our Star Watch Performer of the Week. We've had lots of dunks for our Play of the Week segment. We're going on the other end this time. It's a 2-pack of defensive gems. We're starting it in New Britain.
Yeah, Alex Morales, we alluded to it earlier in the broadcast. Alex Morales getting the game-saving block on Ian Krishnan. It was actually an astute play by Krishnan because, 3 seconds into the inbounds pass, he has the wherewithal to make the cut, get open for a split second. But then Morales, he's an all-conference player, obviously a player of the year guy. Great recovery. I mean, when you watch that play in real time, Ron, people may have thought that was a foul, but then that photograph by Wagner from Matt Kipp, you could tell right there, that was all ball from Morales, just a great recovery. He did not hit Christian with the body when he was making that block attempt. And, just a credit to Morales. Christian made a great cut and he got open for a split second, but then Morales with the great recovery, just an all around great play in a clutch moment.
Can we talk about how gorgeous that photo was? As a photographer myself, or at least I like to think I am, that's an amazing photo from the other end of the court. Great play by Alex Morales. That potentially saved the game for Wagner. Meanwhile, 2 days later, we go to Emmitsburg, same situation, a 3 going up in the final seconds. And who of all people, Joe Moon, in for defensive purposes for Bryant, gets it done.
Yeah, only playing his 4th game of the year due to injury earlier in the year, but terrific closeout at the end here by Joe Moon in the closing seconds. He blocks Jalen Benjamin's shot. Doesn't give the Mount fans a chance to wonder if it's in the air, will it go in? Will this be a great win? He closes it out, blocks the shot, and Bryant victorious in Emmitsburg. Just a huge win on a great defensive play.
2 great defensive plays. I'm sure we might be seeing those in our NEC 9 this week as well. We also have a double dose of milestones this week. 2 players joining the NEC 1,000-point club. First, Central's Ian Krishnan.
Yeah, congratulations to the 4-year senior. He's had a nice bounce-back season under Pat Sellers, now shooting around 40% from deep, and he's really embraced a leadership role in an otherwise young team. And then Alex Morales getting his 1,000th point in a Wagner uniform against LIU, hits that corner 3 off the Will Martinez feed. What can we say about Morales? He does it all. That time it was kind of, I guess ironic he made it off a 3, given that he was doing so much damage around the rim in that game. But he was wide open. He hits the shot, and just another milestone for a terrific career at Wagner.
Ian Krishnan, Alex Morales hitting 1,000, probably be a few more in the next couple of weeks as well. Games to watch this week. We have a major doubleheader on Thursday. We start at the non-traditional 5 p.m. start on ESPNU. This is a big one. Mount St. Mary's visiting Wagner. What do you see from this game, Ryan?
Well, a rematch of the NEC tournament semifinals last March, where the Mount kind of used their size, physicality, and defensive tenacity to grind out a victory. And this time around, I think it's the same thing. Although Wagner, they're super seniors, they're a little bit more experienced, and look for them to get out in transition, try to attempt to speed the game up off of live ball turnovers. Mount's got to protect the basketball. That's one thing that I would really want to watch. And it's a lot of star power here, right? Nana Poku against Raekwon Rogers, Alex Morales against Mezzi Offram, who's a defensive savant. It's going to be a fun one.
I think Mount really matches up well with Wagner. I think this game has go into the buzzer potential, which is what we like on our TV games. But when this one is over, you switch it over to ESPN 3, and we have the Battle of Brooklyn. Always always a marquee game on our TV calendar every season.
Yeah, this is a big one too, because St. Francis, they want to kind of have a chance to get into the upper half of the NEC. They need a win against LIU, and LIU, they're in the driver's seat for that fourth position, that coveted position where you could get a home game in the first round of the NEC tournament. Last time LIU dominated the paint against the Terriers 38-20, and they really got out in transition, scoring 39 points in the fast break. So I'm sure Glenn Brake is going to try to combat that. And, they have to eliminate the live ball turnovers and kind of prevent the Athletic Sharks from making plays in the open floor.
Ryan, I know you like to think you're the only one that does writing, but if you check out this week's official NEC release, you'll see a history of the Battle of Brooklyn. Some great games. I've been at so many of these, just a tremendous rivalry. Looking forward to it. And as you said, Ryan, this game has seeding and standings implications. So we'll see you there. 5 o'clock, Mount Wagner on ESPNU. 7 o'clock, St. Francis Brooklyn LIU on ESPN3. And as always, check out the rest of the NEC Hoop Slate this week on NEC Front Row and on the NEC On the Run series of apps. As always, one click and for free. That's a wrap, Ryan. Another fun show. Always enjoy our weekly get-together. And thanks to Charles Pride for joining us as our special guest this week. And we will see you next week on NEC On the Run.